Hello, it's Cheryl here. I'm introducing the first session in the module Human Identity, Theology, Vocation and Professional Practice, that's TMM 1231, with just a few slides to get us started for the weekend and also to introduce a bit of a fun video. So in this session we will consider ourselves as creature, but not just on our own, but in the context of our relationship with the Creator and in our relationship with the rest of non-human creation. We may be made in the image of God, but we are also part of a much wider creation. We find that clearly laid out in some of the biblical texts, but also we know from scientific understanding that we are embedded in a huge ecosystem of other creatures on this planet. How does that affect our identity? And as you'll see, if you look at this diagram which has been developed to outline the contents of this module, we're starting here in the top left corner with focus on creation and including a consideration of science. So I hope that by now you have carefully read the module document for human identity. I've picked out from that a couple of the learning outcomes which I think are particularly relevant, not only to the class on Saturday, but also to the online work that follows weekend one. The first of these is one of the subject-specific knowledge points, which is thinking and being able to discuss about human personhood in the light of theology, theologically informed understanding of human personhood, not just generically, but at different stages of life. And the online work includes consideration of pre-birth humans in this regard. The second point I've pulled out is one of the study skills, which is thinking about how to integrate our theological understanding with anthropological and other scientific input. Particularly obviously in the last few century or two, we've learned a lot more about what it is to be human from a scientific perspective, and trying to integrate that in our thinking and also in the different contexts in which we teach and communicate is one of the things that hopefully will benefit from this session. We will work with all four sources that are commonly used in the Christian reflective process today. We'll be looking at scripture, starting there with what we can learn about our identity there. We'll then be touching on the way our forebears in the faith have discussed this issue, thinking about the traditional teaching about personhood. But then we'll also be seeking to integrate that with the more modern findings about human biology, psychology, anthropology, to deepen our understanding of our identity, but also of our relationship with God and with the rest of creation. And then finally, we'll briefly be thinking, if we have chance to reflect in class on our own experience of this and what we feel about this, have a chance to think about these issues together. But first, a bit of fun. The link here is to a YouTube video which helps us get a handle, or start to get a handle on the scale in which we find ourselves in our existence. So it starts off with an image of a hoop, a child's hoop, which is 1 meter across. And then the images zoom out, if you like. So the next image is 10 meters. And the next is 1,000 meters, and so on, and each time it gets 10 times larger. And it carries on, the process carries on, obviously using some real photographs at some points, but in other places probably some computer generated graphics, I suspect, until it gets right to a sort of, a supra galactic level. And then it comes back down again to the meter, our kind of scale, and then proceeds to zoom in to 1/10 of that scale each time. So a tenth of a meter, then a hundredth of a meter, then a thousandth of a meter, and so on and so on, right down to the subatomic level. And again, there we have to rely on computer graphics because we can't image things quite that small. But as I say, it's a bit of fun, but it helps us, I think, locate ourselves somewhere between the extremely large in the universe and the extremely small, and we find ourselves in this unique place somewhere vaguely in the middle. So I hope you enjoy it and look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Bye.